Hello, hello, welcome back. This is Cult Media. We are here with Joe Clark. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
I'm doing well. Thanks you for asking. All right, so we got a few questions for you about hopefully your songs and stuff like that. How long have you been doing the whole music thing? We'll put it that way.
The whole music thing. I think so I started out playing in bands when I was roughly around about 14 and started doing my own kind of solo acoustic stuff when I was 15. I remember it super well. I was 15 years old, so it was it's been a wild journey since then between loads of kind of different formations of bands and then taking my own solo stuff a bit more seriously.
Can you remember back at 15 what was the idea that made you want to start, performing or writing or playing music? What
I can, and it's great. So I was in a band already. So I was in, and we were like your stereotypical like 14-year-olds in a band. Just like playing Blink-182 music and
of course,
Green Day, all that stuff, and it was like the best time ever. But we had this little festival booked up north, and we went up. Well, we went up super soon before. The two guys I was in a band with basically pulled out of the gig, and I was like, well, it's a festival, it's a massive opportunity, like we can't not do this,
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I'll just do it myself then, and I couldn't play guitar. I had a month to learn how to play guitar, so I learned about the beauty of a capo. And then I got G, E minor, C, D, and A, and I was like, right, I can play some songs from this, so I just moved the capo up and down and I did it as a 15-year-old in this little, like, by myself, having played guitar for a month, and ever since then I was like, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. If you manage to pull that off, you can pretty much you can make it anywhere, could you?
Bro, I'm so stubborn. I was like, yo, I'll just do it then. And I was like, oh, that was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
The show must go on. Sure. So, where did you grow up, and what was music like around where you were?
So I grew up in a wee town called Crieff, just on the Highland Edge. Lovely, like super beautiful wee place with some of the most amazing people in the world. That I really feel like super blessed to have had the chance to grow up in a place like that. And I love it. I absolutely loved it. Music was very much kind of confined to what like my folks would play in the car and stuff like that. Because none of my family is particularly musical or was growing up. And actually, like, we only got the first guitar. Well, my dad had like a little beat up £3.50 in 1980 or whatever it was, charity shop guitar. But we won a guitar for £1 in a raffle, and then that was a guitar that I learned on. And ever since then, it was like, yeah, I'll play it, fine. I would like borrow acoustics to go and play gigs and stuff for my friends because I didn't have a one that plugged in, so I couldn't play live gigs. But the music was very much like, it's so. It varies so much from like the Kaiser Chiefs to Frank Sinatra and everything in between. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
It was music growing up was like so much fun. And then when I got interested in like Blink-182 and Frank Turner, I was like, yeah,
of course.
Is me,
I mean, the punk turn has to happen at some point.
Everyone goes through a phase. I just haven't gone out with the phase.
Well, that was gonna ask a very good segue. So my next question would be: is like, what is your influences, or like what kind of did you listen to that made you think like, oh, I really want to start doing this. I want to be like them. I want to be like whoever. Like
two words, one name: Frank Turner. I absolutely love Frank Turner. I've loved him. He was the inspiration for my first tattoo, which is on my shoulder there. With some of his lyrics. I love him. I absolutely love him. I always thought, I was like, I remember I heard his first record because I used to be into like. My first ever live gig, for example, was Rise Against, supported by Pennywise.
Okay.
Two very different artists to the artists I listen to now, but it was very much like formed in the idea of this kind of like pop punk-esque or pop punk, a bit more kind of like harder music.
Yeah.
But since it's very much like mellowed out as I've kind of gotten a little bit older. I'm still 26. So I'm still a young man, right? And I will fight and die in this corner. It's the age that athletes reach their prime.
Wait.
But yeah, like so it's the transition there kind of goes from like that Blink-182, the Green Day, towards now more like Frank Turner a lot, and he's kind of the hardest almost. I'll kind of like take inspiration from. Aside from that, it's like now like Newton Faulkner, Bears Den, Kingfisher, a lot of Scottish music. Like I'm so proud of the fact that I've grown up in Scotland, like Tide Line, Skippinish. I love those bands.
Your style has developed obviously as you've grown older, but like could you maybe put like a pin on when maybe your style in your own like personal music is maybe like developed or something like that?
Probably actually when I actually wrote Miles for the first time, because Miles, it's one of those weird ones. Like until then, I'd always written music to be played as part of a band, so it was always kind of like thinking of lyrics along to tracks that other people had made. So I was doing the lyrics, but the actual formation of a song and writing a song, that came with Miles, and I wrote it in 15 minutes in my bedroom when I was 16 years old. Released it initially, then took it down, and now I've obviously put it back up again. And it's so strange now to hear me, because I've played gigs up and down the country, and I've seen people that are there singing back the lyrics that I wrote when I was 16 to a song. Do you know what I mean? Like Well, 16. No, sorry, I was 17. 17 when I wrote it. So like 9 years ago, it's I cast my mind back and go that 16, 17-year-old kid just like writing this one tune, thinking, yeah, it sounds quite nice, and now people are singing it back to me. It's
that
beautiful.
That must feel good. That must feel good. So yeah, you're I assume you're self-trained then, yeah.
Yeah, I've never had a lesson around. I tried guitar lessons when I was in high school, but I thought I was too cool for them, really. You know what I mean? Like, because I was very much like a little.
You didn't want to learn the boring stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We were learning about chords, and we were learning about sheet music, and I was like, I just want to play. But now I've got older, I'm like, damn, I wish I knew so much more.
Yeah. No, that's totally fair. Yeah, I feel the same way a lot. When I'm trying to learn something, and just trying to get the right fret or the right
and you see like a chord written down. There's just when you see it, and you're like, there's two hashtags. What does two hashtags mean?
A sharp.
Yeah. He's like, how could they double sharp? Oh, you could be sharp and a minor. Oh, great.
All right. So what so you're obviously you're more tilted towards live performance over your career so far. Obviously you're recording now, but what kind of live performance would stick out to you the most if you were to pick one out?
I think as far as my actual original music is concerned, it would be that very first gig, because I remember it again so clearly. There was over 100 people packed into this venue that was advertised to only have 30 there, and they were all there because I went up to this festival to say with another band from Crieff, where I'm from,
Right.
And I often, I don't know whether or not they maybe see this and probably cringe a little bit, but I used to see them like, I remember when we had these like little stages and we had these gigs with this bigger band, and I always kind of saw them as like almost idols, be like, oh wow, these are older guys still in the game. These are cool people. Yeah. But that when they brought everyone that brought to see them to come and see me play this gig, and it was amazing, that one. I think I played at bigger stages and stuff like that as well, but I think for me, that very first gig was the moment that like completely changed my life. And it was funny because I went from that gig back to play a gig that night in Perth with my actual band at the time, the two that had bailed out on the actual gig itself, and we played awful. It was a battle of the bands. We came like solid last, and I was like, oh, it was everyone else's fault. It wasn't ours. We were like,
stupid voters.
Yeah, literally. But that's like the contrast, isn't it? I think that moment for me, it sticks out so much because I was like, maybe I could do stuff by myself one day. We'll see.
Doing it on your own. Yeah. Well, so you found that like doing it on your own, you got more like, I don't know, a sense of empowerment out of it, or like it was easier instead of having to coordinate. Like
I feel like it's so much the music that I make when I'm by myself, or like and I'm playing my own music, is so much more. I connect so much more to it because I pour like my heart and my soul into the songs that I write, and I struggle to say things out loud. Like I tend to really struggle to kind of tell people how I think, tell people how I feel. I don't know. It's one of those things. It's a barrier I've never really been able to overcome myself. And I've seen songwriting as this amazing avenue away from just. It's an avenue away from needing to use my own voice, and I almost like mask myself behind the singer that I am. So I say an awful lot through the songs that I write. Hence, it's one of those things. This is corny, but people write love songs. I like it. It's for me. It's the best way to tell someone, be it a partner, a family member, a friend, like just how much they mean to me. For me, I write them a song and play that song then live. It's fantastic.
Okay, that's interesting. So That brings me to a question. What does inspire a lot of your songs then? If one of them is personal connection and being able to like say something to someone you don't really like want to say in person, right? Then is that where a lot of your songs come from, or is it more of a
Yeah.
how do you write?
Yeah, for me, a lot of songs that I do write, I write in like certain phases in time, you know. Like I remember I had a super bad breakup that was 100. It's one of those annoying ones where it's 100% your own volition. And I remember I poured so much songwriting then. I don't sing any of them anymore really very often. I don't even really revisit the songs. I'm sat alone in my room because I've kind of moved on from that phase of my life. But like moments in time that I'm going through massively influence how I write, what I write, and the things that I'm almost like motivated by. You know what I mean? Yeah, feelings, man. They're an amazing thing.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask another one. Those songs that you write that you don't want people to listen to, that might just be for you. How do you feel about those when you look back on them in X amount of time, right?
They're so important, man. Do you know what I mean? Like for me, like if I was gonna pick up the guitar and start playing one of them now, it's almost like you teleport back to this way that you used to be, you know. And for me, it's so I think the phrase is empowering. Like it's empowering, it's healing. Like it makes you feel so much more kind of at peace with the world that is surrounded immediately by you, you know. Or for me anyway, like I associate the world that is around me by the songs that I write, and like vice versa. It's a way that I can make sense of the confusing things that go on in day-to-day life, you know. Which obviously everyone goes through like wild periods and crazy times in their life and stuff like that, but it's one of those ones where for me like that's a way of like coping with with like the change, everything like that, you know. So I look back at them and go like, yeah, they were important, and some of them are absolute garbage. I need to tell you right now, like some of them, like there's a reason why I don't revisit some of them. Like I look back in the old chord sheets and I go like, ooh,
yeah, it's a younger you writing.
Yeah, like I've rhymed the word for with the number 4.
No, for sure. It's that's super interesting, but like, you know, sometimes I think songs can be either like a sort of diary entry, or they can be like something that everyone can relate to. But it's really interesting that you have, you know, some of those songs that like are more maybe personal, you know.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. Also, I've written some really stupid things in the past as well. You know, you come home from like a boozy night out with your friends and go, I'm like, yeah, let's write the next waltz and grommet theme tune.
How would you say your style has evolved over time?
Yeah, over time, I think definitely that journey from like kind of being a little pop punk wannabe to being like to now where it's more interwoven with I suppose the heritage of the country that I've been so lucky to grow up in, my experiences across life, finding out different artists, learning from different artists, meeting loads of different people, you know, like I think everything, all that has kind of worked around this evolution of at least myself going from someone that was very much a part of a band to me being very much like, actually, these are the things that I think and these things that I feel and these are the chords that I want to use to express them, to the melodies that I picked, you know what I mean? And then that kind of transition went from being like, oh, I want loads and loads of like band stuff and all this kind of like wilder like band related things, I suppose, but then that transition then kind of more reflects into like the slower rhythmic guitar, very acoustic and vocal fronted, nice and shimmery reverbs and all that stuff, you know. That's the thing that for me, that's that big move and that big change. Yeah.
Yeah, and do you feel like that's empowered you as a musician just to be able to do all of that stuff by yourself instead of?
Yeah, definitely. And also like you have a different relationship to the things that you produce then as well, you know, because if you're doing them just yourself and it's your ideas that are there, and like you got to do so many more. You got to jump through so many more hoops in a way, because you need to find like a producer that you're happy working with. Yeah. You need to find a producer that gets you fundamentally, and I'm so grateful for the producer that I have. Liam's a fantastic guy. We played together in bands, so he knows exactly how I operate, what I operate with, and what I want things to sound like before I even know it. So he's like, yeah, I've made this. Have us look at this, and I'm like, I gave you one guitar piece, and you managed to turn it into a beautiful piece of like music. You know, I'm like, you're a guy.
Oh, that's an asset to have for sure.
Oh, 100%.
Wow, Joe, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks so much for having me, man.
I've got 2 more questions for you.
Love it.
Where can we find you?
We can find you all the usual places. Instagram, Spotify, TikTok, all that stuff. I've got one thing out on Spotify with some more exciting things on the way.
Yeah?
Yeah, I know.
All right.
I've got something coming.
Do you want to give us any dates or anything like that?
In date-wise, I'm looking for either the second or third week in July for a release date for Dare to Dream. Dare to Dream, dream and daring and all that daring and dreaming.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be coming out, and I'm so excited because it's a little bit different from Miles. Not too different from Miles, but it shows kind of 2 very significant parts of my own kind of writing process. Sorry? Yeah. I put it on my. You know what? Thing is as well. I actually put the wrong file, and I was like, I recorded the video because I just got picked up to go and play one of my gigs in London, and the guy who was driving me just picked me up as I was doing trying to sort it on my phone. So I was like, yeah, that just had to be fine. And then I put up the first draft.
Oh no!
Yeah, I know. And I was just like, oh, there's a voice crack in there as well. Oh, it was class. But yeah, Data Dream's coming out mid-July. Miles is already out, so check out that track. I'm so happy with the way that it's progressed. As I say, wrote it when I was so young, from 15 minutes in my bedroom, and now people are singing it back to us, so that's class.
Hell yeah.
Instagram, they know all my stuff. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook for the generation of the beasts.
Joe Clark, everybody. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming in.
Loved it, man.
We have been Cult Media, and we will see you in the next episode.
On the next episode.
Hey, good job, man.